Hey kids, you trying to get into Segment City? Well, you really shouldn't, because Segment City is a mature podcast, and listener discretion is advised. I'm just trying to look at... I know I'm in an alleyway. I know how I look, but I got some fireworks for you kids. I got snakes and I got sparklers. That's all I got. Oh, don't give me that.
I need to talk to you about something that
just right off the bat
that weighs heavy on my mind.
Can we just wait? We're just going to start the podcast.
We're starting. So. Well, I just need to tell you. Talk about something, you know?
Okay, just if you want to talk about it, we can talk about it. We're friends.
So I'd say once every like 6 to 8 months, I'm like, I have this thought crosses my mind that's like, it would be a really good idea to build like a good gaming PC. Like, this would be a good thing for me to do. And I start looking into it, and I very quickly am like, this was a bad idea. This is why I don't do this. And I walk away very, like, demoralized and upset. And I know the bar of entry is very minimal, and I could just buy parts and put them together. But I was inspired again today, and I was like, maybe I'll go try to do this. And I started listening, because this came about because I was listening to the NVIDIA announcements for their new GeForce line of graphics cards. And I just want to read you the statistics for their new things and talk about how utter gibberish all of this fucking shit is.
Okay, but you need to understand that I am... from the PC Master Race.
I know.
And I do enjoy those PC games.
I know. And the thing is, like...
So if you hear a little, like, ooh...
Yeah, I know.
It might just be me, like, having a little bit of a moment.
I know you're going to understand this. I'm a fairly technical person. I'm a software engineer. Mm-hmm. But for Christ's sake, all of this is just utter malarkey. Like... I just can't do it. So I'm going to read you the specs from the RTX 3090, which is what they announced. They announced the 3090, 3080, and 3070 today. The 3090 is this big, beefy $1,500 graphics card that is like the next like Titan whatever bullshit top of the line. Beef. Apparently it can play 8K games in 60 frames a second. Bonkers.
Ooh.
Bonkers. I can understand that much. Let's walk through the stats here, okay? This is where it starts to break down for me.
I know me as the PC gaming master race. I have an 8K monitor. I have multiple. I'm surrounded by them.
I know.
It's a
That's
full
the one thing
encasing.
I was like 8K.
It's like a cocoon
like,
of
cool.
light.
Somebody will be able to play with this graphics card in 7 years. Great. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
So let's read some stats. Apparently this 3090 has the CUDA cores count. The CUDA cores has 10,496 CUDA cores. Don't know what that is.
Whoa, 496? How'd they fit all those cores in there?
Boost clock, 1.7 gigahertz. I understand that. Okay, I get it. Memory clock, 19.5 gigabytes per second GDDR6X. I understand some percentage of that. I know what gigabytes per seconds are. I know what GDDR6 is. I don't know why there's an X on there. I also don't know what memory clock means.
Okay.
Next up is memory bus width. It's 384-bit. That's many bits.
You gotta get a lot of passengers on those buses. Man, you gotta get the little old lady that's knitting. She's got a little scarf over his head. You got to have the guy that's got he's got the phone. He doesn't have headphones, but he's still blasting music.
Dude, yeah.
You got to have the guy
talking on speaker and their baby is crying at the same time. Yeah.
The guy who keeps farting. You got to get all those on that very wide bus.
That's why you need 384 bits of memory bus.
Yeah, you got to get that memory bus.
You got to get that memory bus. The VRAM is 24 gigabytes. I guess that's virtual RAM. That's a lot of RAM for a graphics card. That's
a lot of RAM.
All right, here's where we get into some nonsense. Single precision performance, 35.7 teraflops. What the fuck is a teraflop? Let's just be honest. Let's be honest with ourselves.
That is on the Earth.
Okay, let's see. PC Gamer, what the hell is a teraflop? Explain to me what a teraflop is.
A teraflop is some floppy disks made of some dirt.
There you go. This one got 35.7 dirty old floppy disks.
Dirty old floppy disks.
You gotta dig them out of the garden. You gotta wash them off.
You're such a pleb that you don't know what teraflops are. I can't believe you.
Trillion floating point operations. Isn't that what it is? It just means you can do a lot. You can do a lot of. That's a lot of math right there.
Yeah,
that's
just
so much math. Tensor performance FP16, 285 teraflops. The fuck is a tensor performance, Will?
You know when you get you got a real stress day and you got that stress fall and you got to get that stressor performance, like how much you can just get the stress out with the ball and you're just and that's what powers your computer.
Right. So you're squeezing it really hard and that's when the fans on the graphics card start whirring and you get a lot of cooling power.
And then you go to IGN.
Yeah.
You go to IGN, you see the review of the latest game you wanted and you go, oh!
But then you say, this graphic part makes me feel like the Batman. Ooh. Ray performance, 69 teraflops. Nice.
Nice.
All right, we got TDP 350W. That's a measurement. I don't know what 350W is. I don't know what TDP is. Couldn't tell you.
TDP? Wait, what?
It says TDP.
I mean, what? No, I know what TDP is, dude.
Nice
thing. I know what TDP is. Oh, he's a fucking pleb, dude.
You want to know you want to know about the transistor count on this bad boy? 28B.
Oh, jeez.
28B transistor count.
It's got so much electricity, it needs all those transistors.
And the final stat, it's got an ampere architecture. That's something, isn't it?
Oh, an ampere, you say?
Yeah, man.
An amp that is also a vampire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a Wear amp, and I don't think it's doing great. I think I need to upgrade.
The Wear amp doesn't compete at all with the Ghoul disc.
It's really good. It's really good. Only on a full moon.
Yeah, the architecture looks like the Mummy. It's all wrapped up with toilet paper in there. You just don't open your PC. They're just gonna start rolling toilet paper out of there.
And it's just as bad as the movie. Remember the Mummy? Oh.
So that's my run through of the utter nonsense that is all I was watching the press conference because on my second screen because I was like, whatever, what else am I doing? And then they started rattling off these statistics and I was like, this is somebody knows what this means. This can't be true. No one knows what this means. Everyone just pretends to know what this means.
You're right. Nobody knows what the fuck any of the. No, there are people who know what this means, but they're ultra nerds in somebody's basement. I'm somebody that knows enough. I've bought multiple graphics cards in my day. Over time, I've had to upgrade because I built my own PC. But yeah, none of this means anything except in comparison. And without Google, you would have to Google, when I do when I want to upgrade something, I do tons of Google searches, I do for everything. Google everything. What's the best one for the price? That is, if you are a person who's buying the newest graphics card, I feel like you could almost relate to that because you do buy all the newest games. I am somebody
I buy new
that's
games, but I don't buy new hardware. I know that's
we know that's a nope. You buy.
I mean, I would buy
the PS4 Pro.
I got the PS4 Pro, but that wasn't at launch. And also, I'm becoming less and less convinced that I'm actually buying the PS5 at launch because they're giving me fewer and fewer reasons to do so.
Ooh, you're coming around to my side. But my point is, there's graphics cards. If you are this into graphics cards, you are lost to society. You are a black hole to society. You're like those people who thinks that they can cut up their driver's license and be like, I'm off the map.
I'm off the map.
But these people are actively off the map, except the only pings. If you had to find them, if this was a CSI show, they would be he posted to a forum about the newest graphics. He said that the newest game looks like shit. I can't believe anyone could look at this.
It's only 4K? Bullshit.
It's only 8K. I have a 20K monitor. It's all just if you buy the new graphics card, they're $500. Why? That's a whole console.
Bruh.
What? Excuse?
That's what I told you, bro. I told you at the top that this was $1,500.
Oh, this is like the Titan.
Yeah,
card.
This is like if you own nothing but PC, like your house is built of monitors, and your car is actually just a surfboard, but the surfboard is just more monitors, and your instead of forks and knives, you open up the drawer and it's just sticks of RAM in there. And
this is the PC part of me. Ooh, and sticks of RAM. You say
your bed is liquid cooled. It's some bullshit.
Ooh, I do get very warm. I'm a sweady boy.
Would you like a liquid cooled bed? Would you rock that? What if you had a water bed? That's called a water bed. But it was liquid cooled. They had a cooling system in there.
Ooh.
There was a guy in my high school who maybe this was in college. I thought this was in high school. Some guy was taking a CS course, and his computer, he was like pulling an all-nighter, and his computer was running so hot that he like got a series of tubes and threaded them through his laptop, and like had the faucet running and water pumping through his computer like all night. And I was like, that's idiotic.
That's like in college when there's the people who were really into Dogecoin for like a hot second.
Right.
And there's somebody that built a PC and they literally like had it hanging out their window in the middle of winter because it kept on overheating, and it was like sticking out fully out the window. And I'm like, that's going to fall. And they're like, nah, it's good. It was held up by duct tape and cardboard. And I was like, you're an idiot. That would only happen in a freshman year in a CS dorm.
Clearly,
anyway, welcome.
Better graphics card.
10 minutes in, we haven't even done the intro. Hi, this is Segment City, a computer podcast.
If you followed all of the stats I just read out, I'm not...
One, get out.
Two. Two, I'm Theo Sapakos. This is Segment City.
I'm Will Kane, the Lawnmower Man. And this is a podcast in which Theo and I present segments.
Man? What?
You never heard of the movie Lawnmower Man?
No.
There's a movie Lawnmower Man that's in modern times frowned upon. It's a big joke. Basically, they took it's from the 90s or 80s, and it's like one of the early CG things where like characters, it's almost like Tron where they go into a computer. Okay. But they took and this is one of the dated things, a simple guy, which is code for mentally handicapped man, and they, and he was a lawnmower. Why it's called Lawnmower Man is because he would mow people's lawns. And then they like upped his intelligence, and he like went into a computer, and they have to stop him.
Dang, what a ride!
So Lawnmower Man. This is a podcast in which Theo and I present segments each week. Some are new, some are about Lawnmower Man. This week.
Most are about Lawnmower Man. Apparently,
most are not about Lawnmower Man. But I think this week we're going to start the same as we start every week. I faked you out.
You goofed it. Yeah, you got me.
This is just kind of a Will asks. I'm not going to do a full Will stupid thought. This is just me asking you a question.
Will poses.
Theo, how do you view tourists in your city, which is our city, I suppose?
Our fair city?
Yeah, what do you think about tourists in Boston?
They just, I have no argument with tourists. I get it. You want to be out there in the bean town. You want to eat that clam chowder. You want to walk by the fucking harbor, kid. I get it. Yeah. You're here for the history.
You're here for that good Boston. You're
here for the freedom walk or whatever it's called.
You're here to be called kid and get some clam chowder. That's
right. I get it. I'm here for that. My main grumble and gripe. You're walking so slowly. You're just walking. You're walking so slowly. Just up it by about 2 times, and we'll have no problem. The locals here got somewhere to be. I don't want to have to tell you move the hell out of the way. So just do us all a favor. Walk a little faster.
Here's the thing. Maybe they're doing it on purpose to get that classic Boston rage going.
Maybe they're here for the raging locals. Maybe I'm part of the attraction. You should pay me.
Here's how you know. If they turn around and they go, "Excuse me, I don't like your Red Sox apparel." And you go, "What'd you say about the Sox?" And then they're like, yes, good. This is what I came for. Then they're doing it on purpose. Most of the time, though, I think they're just kind of, yeah. I don't think much about tourists in Boston.
The closest I've ever really felt to being from Boston is I landed in Boston Logan, as you do, kid.
Yeah, as you do.
As you do, kid.
Yeah.
And there was a guy getting
off the fucking airport, dude.
There was a guy getting off the plane. He was wearing a Lakers hat, and I looked at him dead in the eye, and I said, "That hat? Not in this town." And I walked away.
Did you actually?
I did.
You get right back on that plane. I don't know where it's going next. It doesn't go right to the same city, probably. But
it doesn't matter. You're getting out of here, and that's all that counts.
You're getting out of here. You're going to L.A.
You're going wherever. Don't care. Just not here.
Get the fuck out of here, kid.
That's right. So that's the closest to being a local I think I've ever been.
I feel like a Boston local. When I lived in the city and worked more in the city, then I would pass duck tours, which is a big thing in Boston because it's basically, for people who don't know, it's just big buses that you can drive into the water. They're also boats.
Yeah, were they ever military vehicles? They seem like the worst military vehicles ever.
They kind of look like them, but I wouldn't want to be going in D-Day on those.
Oh no, they're firing on us! Quick, make a quick getaway. We're going 2 miles an hour.
But I would walk by people and they would stare at me as I was going to work, and I'm like, I'm from here. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. People are.
I'm supposed to be here.
Yeah, what are you looking at?
What are you looking at? It feels like a weird contrast to how I feel when I'm a tourist in another place, where I feel very insecure, where I'm like, oh, I want to blend in. I don't want to like draw too much attention. I just want to look like I want to get the local experience kind of deal.
Yeah.
I don't want to be like, oh, what's this? Like snapping pictures.
You don't do a lot of like walking around and pointing at things and being like, look at that.
Wearing my baseball cap and my fanny pack? No, not really.
Whatever city you're in, it just says I heart and then that city. Just wherever you are.
I am more comfortable going to other American cities than I would, like, even in Europe, which is...
Well, I mean, there's no
also
language.
First world.
There's no language gap here.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I guess, would you feel comfortable gaps in, like, London? Or would you feel kind of uncomfortable?
I felt... in some degrees, I was comfortable. In others, I was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where I felt like I'm not a super talkative person, but compared to a lot of Londoners, I was like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Like, having a good day?
You were the chatty American.
I was like, hey! Like, just asking them fun questions, and they're like, why? What are you doing? But anyway, let's go on to your segment, Theo.
My segment. It's time for another edition of Am I the Asshole?
Oh, this is a good question. Is Theo an asshole? Let me think about.
Let's think about that. Ponder.
Let me just flash back to the beginning of not the episode, but the call that we started when you just were like, just roasting me because I went, oh, and you're like, look at Will, always groaning. This is his catchphrase, isn't it? And I was like, I ran 6 miles.
I said nothing. I was dropping truth bombs, baby.
I was exercising. I was being healthy.
No groaning. No exercising. No groaning.
I'm sore from all the running, all the dust in my throat.
You got the
anyway,
dust
get on to your
Am I the asshole?
segment.
Okay, here we go. This is from, I forgot what users. I'll dig up the user sometime other. Maybe we'll put it in the description. Anyways, my brother Jake and I had the same dream college. We'll call it H University. Don't know what it is, but that's what they said in the post. Also, in case you're confused about the ages, we're about 1.5 years apart, but I skipped a grade, so we were in the same grade for nearly our entire life. Jake was way more passionate about H University than I was. He had several H Merch University sets of clothes and kind of just assumed he was going there. For example, in conversations, he'd say things like, once I'm at H, or after I go to H, my plan is. Basically, his life plan rested on him going to that university. Jake and I got along pretty well. We'd sometimes give each other advice or study together. However, during college app season, he got super competitive once he realized I was also applying to H University. He'd refused studying together, looking over each other's essays, and he'd constantly tell me to not even bother applying. Then decisions came out, and we opened them at the same time. I was accepted, and he was rejected. Jake had a massive panic attack, and instead of celebrating my acceptance with my family, I sat in the room all day because Jake would get furious when he saw me. I once even caught him trying to unlock my laptop to decline my offer since his friend DM'd me to warn me that he was talking about doing that. My parents obviously punished him for doing that, which made it much worse. When my H University sweatshirt came in, he screamed at me for showing off when I just put it in my closet. He told so many people that I only got in because I was a girl and that H mixed the siblings up. That's a big yikes, dog. Come on, man. This is just getting downhill.
Okay, so wait, this is the poster asking if they're the asshole?
If the post, we haven't got to the end of the question yet. So
okay, that's the one.
There's still time. Yep. Honestly, yeah. I felt bad for him because I would be crushed too if I were him. Every time I tried to get him to stop, it got worse. He just kept I just kept tolerating it. I thought I'd get better after the summer once college actually started. It has not. It's really set in that he's going to a state school, which is not H University. His anger is largely compounded by the fact that he's going to the same college that he used to condescend other students about aiming for. My classes started soon, so I've been setting up in our study, which I share with Jake. Both of our rooms are tiny with no room to studying, so we share a study with 2 desks that face away from each other. Jake cleared out my whole desk and broke my lamp in the process. He says that I need to study in my room so that he can study without distractions for his classes. We've always both worn headphones. There's literally no distraction. He just doesn't want to see me taking classes at H University. I'm so fucking done. I want to be proud that I got into this college and actually learn shit without my brother screaming to me about it. Where I might be the asshole. We got into an argument and I told him that of course he got rejected since H University didn't take toddlers. I've been wearing my H sweatshirt around the house constantly, which he gets angry about. He kept bothering me, so I super glued H University rejection letters in the drawers of his desk so that he had to see them when he opens them. Am I the asshole?
1. Fucking boom roasted on the toddler comment. Just absolutely obliterate that. Because I could imagine like him, the look on his face of just like his soul exiting his body is like, oh,
his vacant eyes.
A little bit far with the rejection letter gluing in. I don't think this person is doing what we would hope, which is like rising above high running it. I don't think they're really the asshole. I think the brother, one, if you're aiming for a certain school, which I don't actually know that many people that were like, if I don't get into
blank,
let's say Harvard.
Right.
I was in my head. I was calling it Horniness University.
Horny. I just have
Horny
to
University.
Horny you.
But let's say it was Harvard.
Let's go, Cox.
If you want to get to those cock games,
yeah, right.
Really sit in on those college.
If you really
games.
Want to get to those wrestling matches, those big fighting cock wrestling matches. Mm-hmm.
When did this podcast become so gay? I don't know.
I don't know. But slipped into it. I don't know what happened.
Just kind of slipped into it. But I think the brother. Okay, if he didn't form a plan, if he wasn't like getting his high school stuff in order to get into that college.
Right.
It's a little like I feel his pain. I understand. Like I fully empathize with the brother, but there's a certain level that I go, no, you're just being a dick. Like once they're at the colleges and it's like, okay, well, like after I could understand being upset for a week, a month.
Well, we're talking about like acceptance letters come out in like what, March? Maybe
so this
April.
Is, and they're already at college.
We're talking about like 5 months of petty anger now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't be mad for a month, but it's not. Also, it's your sibling. At some point, you should be happy for them, right?
Yeah. I wish that they said what universities, because if it's like, oh, they're aiming for Harvard and they went to UMass Amherst, then I would be like, okay, I kind of understand. I get that. That's something I can like. Or like colleges, like if it was Ivy League versus like getting into a state school, like that's a big.
It definitely sounds like he was aiming for a top tier school and got into still a fine school. I also think that to some degree, like, I mean, like it doesn't not matter where you go to, like it does matter where do you go to college, but it doesn't like it's not like life and death. Like you can still make whatever you want to happen post college happen at almost any school as long as you apply yourself. And it sounds like this guy was almost a case of adults telling him like, oh, you can do whatever you want to do when you grow up. You can be whatever you want to be. And then he like fell short of it because he kind of got caught in his hubris.
Yeah, I think it was hubris. I think also you can apply again. Like people do that all the time where they go to you can transfer. So like make that your goal. That would be my advice to this person. Like, okay, you didn't get in, but if you really want to get into this,
it's not the end of the world.
Get into, and like stop annoying your sister who got in on their own. Like, I understand where you're coming from of like their sibling rivalries, but also I don't think the sister's an asshole because that's what siblings do.
Yeah.
I don't think my brother would go this far, but like
if you tell your sister who got into a good school, you only got in because you're a girl, like you've already crossed the line. Sorry, buddy.
You're a dickhead.
You're a dick.
Like,
and also
she
stated at the top of the paragraph that she skipped a grade. So obviously it's not just because like she obviously is smart as hell. Like, so you can't come out swinging. Like, they must have gotten the names mixed up. Like, sorry.
Oh, that was another thing. That was like, how fucking bold do you need to be to be like, they must have mixed up the names.
They must have.
Oh, or you're just full of yourself, you idiot. Like, oh, this college was just like, oh, the same last name. People have the same last name? Didn't even know.
the admissions officer's like, watch the shell. Watch the shell. It's moving. Where is it going to go? Where's the acceptance letter going to be sent?
He's like he accidentally tumbles over the papers with the applications, and he's like, wait, which one did I say I wanted to accept?
Doesn't
like,
matter.
He just stamps a random one. He's like, whatever. Yeah, I don't think this person's the asshole. What do you think?
I think it's not cool of them to have done the rejection letters in their drawers. But at the same time, someone needs to tell the brother to grow the fuck up. Like, he needs to like, wake up.
I empathize with the brother, but also he went far. He went like he went a step far. I don't think his sister went as far. I think the rejection letter that is pretty far, but it's also like it's a lot of work, and I a little bit commend the hustle. like it's kind of fun.
Yeah, this dude like cleared out her desk and broke her lamp, and she was like, clever response.
Yeah, exactly. This is why she got in.
Right.
The admissions officer was like, this person
to her prank.
Every single thing that she did was like a brilliant roast.
Yeah, it's
versus an asshole. So I'm like, you get in, you win. All right, so that was wonderful. Thank you for that wonderful segment. But now it's my segment. This weekend, I played a game with my brother and my cousin, which recently came out. It's called Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Have you heard of this?
A lot of people in my sphere of knowledge have been very hype about this game. My social spheres. What
are your thoughts on this game?
I don't have any thoughts because as soon as you say the words Final Fantasy, I tune the fuck out. That's how uninvolved I am.
That's fair, but this is this is a game from my childhood, kind of. It's a GameCube game. The original version.
I just have to acknowledge that I'm making all of the enemies today. I'm anti-PC.
I know. Yeah, you're going very hard.
I apologize to people of these fandoms.
You started off.
I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy your selected medium because I enjoy mine. You have every right to enjoy yours.
You started off the call being like, "What's up, fucker?" But anyway,
big energy today.
This is it's a game that originally came out on the GameCube. Do you remember this? There's a cord that you could attach your Game Boy Advance to the GameCube.
I actually do remember this because I think that I bought it for my brother because we played Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and wanted to get Lugia off of it.
Yeah.
And so I think he traded it to like his Game Boy must have been Ruby version just to get that. Yeah. So anyways,
mostly it was a gimmick like that where it was like, oh, you could trade Pokemon or whatever. Some games used it as the controller. This was one of those games.
That feels kind of garbo. Am I wrong?
Oh, it's 100. Okay, so you need 4 Game Boy Advances and 4 cords and a GameCube and the game.
This seems to play like something 4-player. that like would definitely seem like a good idea if you were in a development studio where they were like, here, have all this hardware, and then you ask one real life person and they're like, no, I'm not playing. I'm not doing that.
Yeah. It feels like it's kind of Wii U-ish because
they expect your consumers to work around your constraints.
Yeah, the only 2 games I know that really used it was Legend of Zelda 4 Swords Adventure and Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. And what you use for Crystal Chronicles is it had a map and it had your like items and stuff.
Okay.
So they remastered it. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed the game when I played it as a friend's house. I never bought it. But they have a weird thing where you can get the demo of the game and only one of your friends has to own it for you to like play through the content. That's what they said.
I like
you get the light version. But here's the thing. On Switch, and I think every other thing, you can't do local. You can't do local multiplayer.
Oh, okay.
You have to have individual Switches. But it's kind of counterbalanced by you can play free, but you have to own a Switch. It's like the Animal Crossing thing all over again, how you had to have multiple copies for different islands. So we played it. I'm bringing this up because I knew you were just going to be like Final Fantasy, whatever. It's a very interesting conundrum in terms of game design because it shouldn't have been a remaster. It should have been a remake, 100%. The art style holds up, I think, because let's define for the audience what a remake versus a remaster is. Remaster is just like upgrading the textures, like making it HD, basically. It doesn't look like mushy garbage. Adding in some features like online, and basically keeping everything the same. A remake has more license to change shit up. Like the Resident Evil 2 remake, completely different from Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 2 has tank controls.
You actually have a designer on your team for a remake, like putting thought into how you might revise it and make it more modern.
There was zero designer on Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. Zero.
Okay.
Because there's so many glaring design issues with this game. So me and my brother created characters, and then we're like, okay, let's play. I want to play a map with you, like one of the dungeons. Because the crux of the game is you're on a caravan, and you have to fill up this chalice, and you go through like a dungeon area kind of, and you have to hold the chalice, and because there's like a miasma around you, and that's part of the plot of the game is that's what protects your town. So each year you have to go and fill it up.
Okay.
So you can't go outside the area, which is a neat like thing that was in the original game, that just so everybody doesn't like run off and do other shit. Mm-hmm. Because everybody's looking at the main screen, and that's where you run around, and then you do your item stuff on your own personal screen. So we get in, we're like, okay, let's get in the same match. We try to get in the same one. It keeps rejecting me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And it was like, you have to be on their friends list. And I'm like, I am friends with my brother on Switch. You have to be friends with them in the game. Like in one of the menus, you have to friend them with a code.
Oh yeah, that's some nonsense.
So that's nonsense.
That's like some Square Enix like weirdness, or like Capcom weirdness. Like I know that Monster Hunter was the same way, where like you had to not only be friends with them on PlayStation, but you had to like be in the same guild as them, which meant like going through several sub menus to like actually be able to play with your friends.
This game is a fucking menu nightmare. It is the worst UI I've ever seen. So you have to go to like
called out, boom, roasted.
A menu to go to multiplayer, and then there's lobbies. And the way that the game works with multiplayer is that you can queue up for like a lobby or like a dungeon, like an individual dungeon. So our party host is like, we're doing this dungeon, we're doing Blank Meadows or whatever. Then you get in, you go through the dungeon, you fight the boss, you fill up the chalice. Progress is only saved for the person who hosted. Only their chalice is being filled up. And then you finish the dungeon. It doesn't say, do you want to do the next dungeon in this chain? It says, do you want to retry this dungeon? So you have to quit out, back into the menu. Somebody has to host it. They have to go in just to do another. And while they're doing that, the person who hosted is getting the story. Like right. they move through. Right. so you're just doing, like for me, I'm just doing individual dungeons. I'm not getting any of the in between.
Yeah.
So he's like, sorry, there's story stuff happening. And I go, that's nice. Probably nice for you. Like this is, hey, dear, I'm going to write a letter. Dear Square Enix, you know how you could have fucking done it? Put everyone in the same caravan on the same screen, like a real party, and have everybody do the same shit.
Yep.
And you don't get the progress maybe in the story, but like you get stats and stuff, like which is part of the grind of the game. which is a very grindy game. You keep doing dungeons over and over. And also my brother was like, I stumbled into the end of the game. I was like, oh,
okay.
Or maybe I just read that somebody was like, oh, I was playing it and then I just got to the end.
Do you think
that's not great?
I mean, you say it's very grindy. Do you think that it has enough hooks to actually get people to grind in it? Like, do you think people will actually like do the thing that they're asking them to do?
It came out, I think, in like 2003-ish, like early 2000s, which is when World of Warcraft was coming out. It feels like somebody doing a test for a MMO RPG.
Right.
Where it's a lot of like, because at the end of each level, you get like totems that give you like +2 to strength or stuff like that. So you get more powerful, and you don't level up. You just get stats, and you get like, oh, you get a totem that's an extra heart. And if you're in a party, you get the totems based on your rating, like, because each dungeon, it's like, hey, take the most damage as you can, and that'll get you a higher rating, so you get to pick the totem first.
Oh, okay.
At the end, so it's like a reason to do things. Except also that kind of fucks up because I was playing a Little E, which is basically dwarves that look like beetle people, like they're cute, and so I was very physical, and my magic is garbage, and multiple times it was like, kill people with fire magic, and I was like, well, I'm just gonna lose.
Well, I guess I'll lose.
Cool, it's sick. Also, there's like lag, so like whenever I tried to do the casting, it would, or because you could do, if you cast in the same area as another player, then it does an upgraded version of it, which is neat.
That's kind of cool. They stack. That's cool.
Yeah, except the lag made it so we could never coordinate.
Great.
So it was like, okay, this is garbage. But we had a weird relationship with it because we kept playing it, and we're like, when we're in the dungeons, we were having a good time. Like playing gameplay
so the
was
gameplay's
fun.
Actually good.
And we're having a good time because we were just, my guy was Gordo, and he just said, I'm Gordo. We're just like, cracking jokes and stuff. It was a good time, but we're just like, what a terribly designed game. Because there's multiple times that we're like, you just needed a designer to come in and be like, whoa, what are you doing for this online? How many menus you got? No, kick all that away. Do it this way. Like, it's just fascinating to me that a game
it shows, it's like clear the evolution that games have made, and it's like some games made legacy choices that like you really can't overlook. You know, it's like there are good games, but then you're like, they are very much a product of their times, and without remakes, like some games, that's why I'm happy that remakes get the love that they get, because some of them turn out so great, and they're like modernized, and you're like, it's true that like the original game stands on its feet, but there's been evolution, and it's something unique to games where like old things are old and you can't go back and play them. Like Metal Gear Solid. I've played a bunch of Metal Gear Solid games, and I'm sure we talked about this. I've never played Metal Gear Solid 1 or 2 because I can't reconcile the control scheme.
You can't go back.
I can't go back. And I really very much want to. And if they made modernized versions of those games, I would absolutely like love to play them.
Here's the thing, Theo. They did remake MGS1. It was
they?
called Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes, and that's the version I played, and it was on GameCube.
Oh, it's on GameCube. Yeah. I should honestly I have a GameCube. I should just get Twin Snakes or get an emulator.
Twin Snakes. That's how, because I tried playing the original. Everybody's blocks. Like it looks garbage. They they pulled in the first person aiming.
Yeah.
That was like revolutionary for 2. So like when I got to 2, and they're just like, aim at the C4 mine. I was like, I've been doing this all the time.
Yeah.
1 is great. Twin Snakes. 2 is weird and goofy. Like you have to go into it and be like, this is gonna weird me out. Like there's gonna be weird, like a big fat man on roller skates who drops mines, and you trip on bird poop because you're on top of a tower fighting them. It's a weird game. They're good though, but because MGS3 feels kind of similar to that. Do you play MGS3?
I played 3. Yeah, I really like 3.
3 is really good.
Yeah.
But I think
we don't need to turn this into a Metal Gear Solid podcast because we'll be here for like 4 fucking hours.
Yeah, because I mean, we wouldn't be able to like get through everything. But yeah, this game should have been, because there's just so many design decisions. Because this is a game that would be so much better in local. If I could have, because I can't play with my girlfriend. She doesn't have a Switch.
That's annoying.
I think she would enjoy this game. I think she would be like into it. Like there's no reason other than they're like, oh, each person has a menu though, and so you have to sort through like your item bar, And it's like you could just
have
that's
a solved problem though. It's like just figure it out. It's fine.
Yeah, just like
split the
have
screen
them
vertically
have a
or something.
menu
like
over. There's so many different design decisions, but they're like, well, we just want to do a remake. Let's just do the exact same stuff, which doesn't work. Which doesn't mean you can't do remakes. There have been, but I feel like the base game needs to be stand on its own. If I went back and played Crystal Chronicles now, I think I would be annoyed. Because one, I don't have the Game Boy Advance adapters. Like I can't. Right. You could play it single player with a normal controller, but
you don't have 4 Nintendo Game Boy Advance SPs.
Yeah, I don't have those. I'm good. I don't have them.
Why not?
Don't yell at me.
Come on, Will. Get your collectibles.
Go on to your next segment.
I have a this segment for you. It's Wikipedia Historian.
Oh, Wikipedia Historian.
This one's actually from Atlas Obscura. I just stole the segment name because it's
Wikipedia
sketchy.
Historian is just blank historian.
It's just historian.
Like I've done Wikipedia Historians where it wasn't from Wikipedia. It's fine.
So this is an article about the Helene Shelby criminal confession device.
What?
I'm going to tell you about it. Here we go. So I'm going to just read for you. The 1920s were a dramatic time for the American courtrooms. In 1921, the entire 1919 Chicago White Sox team was charged with purposely throwing the World Series. The Scopes... What? You didn't know that?
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Oh, that's a wild story. The whole team took a dive because of gambling.
Future Wikipedia historian, I suppose. Yeah.
The Scopes monkey trial dominated national newspapers in 1925. And actually, that might be another Wikipedia historian because I need to investigate that further.
It's not there's a modern case where a guy left a camera out and a monkey took a picture and then he sold it and then people said that it was owned by the monkey.
Right. Yeah.
That's a different case.
That's a different one. Yeah. That's more modern.
That's a different monkey case. That's insane.
Yeah. And the Sacco Vanzetti case, and its accompanying appeals, divided the nation for years. Courtrooms of this era might have been more exciting, though, if law enforcement officials had taken the advice of one Helene Adelaide Shelby of Oakland, California. Shelby's innovative idea: what if somebody besides an ordinary detective oversaw criminal justice-related interrogations? What if, for instance, the questioner was a giant skeleton with red glowing eyes and a hidden camera in its skull?
Oh, ooh, that would be spooky.
U.S. patent number 1749090, aka Apparatus for Obtaining Criminal Confessions and Photographically Recording Them, was filed by Shelby on August 16, 1927. Her goal was to cut down on redacted confessions. Quote, "It is a well-known fact in criminal practices that confessions obtained initially from those suspected of crimes through ordinary channels are most invariably later retracted," unquote, she explains in her patent applications. Her invention, which she describes as, quote, a new and useful apparatus, unquote, is designed to, quote, produce a state of mind calculated to cause a criminal if guilty, to make confession thereof, unquote, as well as to record that confession. Straightforward enough, right? The twist is, as always, the execution. Shelby's invention works like this. First, the suspect is confined in a small, dark chamber.
As you are.
In an accompanying illustration, this ne'er-do-well is a bemused-looking man cuffed in pants standing upright, all very suspicious. The examiner, who is in charge of eliciting information from the suspect, sits in a second attached chamber and asks the questions through a megaphone. The suspect cannot see his human questioner, though. Instead, as soon as the examiner flicks a button, a curtain lifts within the chamber, and the unlucky interrogee is suddenly faced with, quote, a figure in the form of a skeleton, unquote.
Ta-da! I'm here!
I'm here to question you! Surrounded by a diaphanous veiling and illuminated from both above and below by, quote, a plurality of electric lights, unquote. This light and curtain scheme is designed to make the skeleton seem like an apparition, as though it has spontaneously arisen inside the confession booth. The skeleton.
It's like a fun horror.
Will mansion. You tell your crimes to Skeletor?
Oh, you scared me there, skeleton.
Oh shit. The skeleton's eye sockets contain red light bulbs, quote, for the purpose of importing an unnatural ghastly glow, unquote. And the megaphone is positioned, quote, in such a manner that the voice of the operator appears to come from the mouth of the skeleton, quote. It also blinks. Effective? You bet.
Perfect.
These illusory effects of supernatural character, Shelby writes, will, quote, work upon the suspect's imagination. Convinced that he is speaking to a true ghost skeleton, the bandit in the chamber will spontaneously confess his most secret crimes. Please, I'll tell you anything, Mr. Skeleton Ghost.
I like that Shelby is just like, listen, I'm just kind of like Batman, you see? I prey on criminals' fear.
Well, lift the curtain and they'll be exposed to Mr. Skeleton.
What do criminals fear? Why, they fear death itself, Commissioner. And so I created a skeleton with spooky glowing eyes. What do you think about that, Mr. Man? And he's just like, please get out of my office.
I'll run it for free, pro bono, Mr. Mayor. I just want to see what happens. But that's not all. While the suspect is spilling his guts to the skeleton is recording the suspect via a film camera installed in its skull, which for 1927 is actually pretty advanced, I'd say.
Yeah, there must be a guy cranking, and he's like, "Oh, this is good stuff."
What's that noise? Pay no attention to the film reel noises.
This is early Wizard of Oz shit.
It is.
I just realized.
Said camera is a nifty machine that, as Shelby explains, can photographically and simultaneously record both scenes and words in the form of pictures in a corresponding audio recording. The examiner operates this whole shebang via a handy switchboard.
It's crazy to me because I don't think they had voiced movies at that point. And they're like, how about we record audio at the same time? And people were like, duh, why didn't we do that?
Are you saying we can match the lip syncing with the voice recording?
Does the skeleton's jaw go down when like, what if he's just like,
you're gonna tell us about what happened at the robbery? Oh, hey, Ted. Yeah, I'm just doing you getting sandwiches from Tony's? Can you get me a rye?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
no.
shit, it's still on.
Ask them being mozzarella instead of cheddar. Yeah. Yeah, it's my usual. Yeah, they'll know. They'll know.
Tell them it's from.
From
Captain Moynihan.
Captain Moynihan, eh?
Oh, damn it!
I mean, skeleton ghost.
It's me, Skeletor. Ooh,
I eat criminals, not sandwiches. Ooh.
I know that's a lie, Skeletor, because you don't got any criminals. I could see into your ribs. I could see into your belly.
I have a crazy metabolism. What can I say?
I can't say anything to supernatural skeleton. There's a beard. What am I gonna do? You see, Commissioner, it's working like a charm.
In 1960,
why do we let you do this?
Invention-wise, she was a one-hit wonder. She has no other patents on file. It doesn't seem as though anyone ever built her skeleton-based interrogator either. It's probably for the best. In 1961, the Supreme Court ruled that coerced confessions are not admissible in court. Although, as a legal scholar Saul Qasim wrote decades later, there is no simple litmus test for what counts as coercion. If anything qualifies, though, a secret surveilling dramatically lit skeleton might just be it. Well, we've got the Golden Gate Killer red-handed. He's on tape saying he committed all 14 murders, and we used the skeleton device. Oh, we're not allowed. Oh, he's got to get to walk free because we use the skeleton device. Oh God. Oh no. This is terrible.
It gets all the way up to the Supreme Court, and they're just like, all right, case of Mr. Maloney versus the skeleton.
This can't be right. This can't be right.
Well, you see, Supreme Court Justice, we just bring in a big old skeleton. Bring him in, boys. And the skeleton, and they're like, "Oh, we'll tell you anything.
No, we'll tell you anything. We'll allow it. It's fine.
It really works now, doesn't it?"
In 1961, they were like, "This is the people versus Mr. Skeleton." For years of terrifying us and extracting us, telling the truth, I've chosen to represent myself, Your Honor.
Listen, Your Honor, somebody told me that I'm just a skeleton with meat surrounding it, and boy, gosh, golly, it really terrified me. And I thought, boy, I could terrify all those criminal scum out there. You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to put the good work here in at the office and get the promotion. You know, I've got bills to pay.
Ma'am, you just did a skeleton laugh, and I don't appreciate it. You're starting to get starting to become the skeleton. That was Mr. Krabs.
That's Mr. Krabs.
I love this skeleton idea. I don't think it would scale to modern times because imagine you have a repeat offender and it's like, it's me, the skeleton. And they're just yeah,
whatever. I didn't do anything. You have nothing on me, skeleton.
Get out of here, Mr. Bones. And there's like, oh, man.
I'm losing my touch.
Yeah, and then you get to modern times and it's just like because back in the day, they were afraid of like the movie that had the train coming at them. Right, yeah. They're like, oh, get out of the way.
Right.
But like now people are like, oh, I'm not even afraid of xenomorphs. Aliens from another planet that fucking lay eggs in your chest. Like,
it does nothing for me.
You know, I've seen worse. Like if a skeleton came up at a modern criminal, they would laugh. Like an old 1920, like she must have gone to a haunted house and been like, oh, golly gosh, I'll tell you everything. I've been having an affair. And her husband's there.
Like, what? Like, I've been operating this skeleton as a hobby. What?
What? I don't understand.
Imagine if they started using this and throughout the years they had to keep making it more and more terrifying so that criminals it kept being surprising. You know, they had to keep it up to date. People were getting desensitized.
And then
100 years later, it looked terrifying.
And then we just end up getting to the two-way mirror. People have to look at themselves. They're the real monsters. Got 'em. Ha ha. The man was the real monster.
Wow. That's a savage insight right there.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow, it's me, Owen Wilson, and I'm ready to go on to my next segment. Wow, well, let's get on to it. Hey, did you ever see Wedding Crashers? You always said that you were going to see Wedding Crashers.
I didn't say that.
You didn't say but we're best friends to you.
Oh, and you know, I have to tell you something.
Hey, but at least did you see Midnight in Paris?
I'll give you this much. I saw Cars. I'll give you that.
Oh,
all right?
Well, I mean, not my best work, but
I would say your most tolerable work. You know.
Thanks for any kind of support in that way. But I've been doing a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
All right, we're doing this is the end of the bit.
Got tired of doing the Owen Wilson.
Yeah, I got that. Wow. All right, so we are going on to a fun segment that really confuses my Google, I bet, called Amazon Erotica.
Ooh, it's sensual. It's Amazon Erotica.
Amazon Erotica. Let's get right into it. Let's get into That Wild Player, a standalone bad boy billionaire and good girl romantic comedy. By the way, for people who don't know, this is where I read erotica descriptions on Amazon because they're always chef kiss, beautiful.
Molto bene.
Molto bene. And these are all usually from the bestseller list. Actually, I just realized that this one is from a series. Jesus Christ.
I gotta
start from the start.
Well, I can't let you. I'm gonna have to let you in on a little secret. You can't just write one erotica novel and let it go. It is always a series. There's never a one-off.
I'm gonna part the curtains a little bit. I was gonna do Chuck Tingle, another Tingler. The man has 19 pages of results. It's insane. He has so many results.
Just cranks them out.
He just cranks them up. Well, our audience is going to be cranking it out to the actual first one we're doing.
Gross.
That Man Next Door, a standalone virgin and lawyer romantic comedy. Now, what does it mean by virgin and lawyer? Is it a virgin lawyer or a virgin and a lawyer? Is a virgin a profession?
I'm Tom. I'll be your lawyer today. Don't be alarmed. I am a virgin, but that doesn't inhibit my my law degree and my professional services. I am a virgin and a lawyer.
Okay, let's just get a virgin who's bailed on 5 one-night stands. Let's just immediately...
Wait, pause right there.
A virgin who's bailed.
He or she has had five opportunities to go break the seal.
Yeah.
As it were.
And bailed on every... Like, how do you bail on a one-night stand? How does that... Like, are you... Because a one-night stand indicates that you're at the bedroom. Like, you could, of course, say no. That is, like, but
I've had
bailing
a really good time with you tonight, but, nah.
Yeah, like, bailing is a different word than rejected or just, like, didn't want to. Right. Like, a virgin who, like, passed on 5 one-night stands is a different thing than bailed. Bailed and makes it sound like she was, like, jumping out the window.
You go out to dinner, and you're like, all right, yeah, let's go back to your place. I've got my car. You've got your car. Just give me your address, and we'll meet there. And then,
I'll see you there.
And then this person just drives away and is never seen again. Bye.
They're just gone. Bailed on 5 one-night stands. Her new neighbor, one-night stand number 5.
One-night stand.
Her new coworker, yep, him. I don't know whether that means the coworker is number 6 or this is the neighbor. Whatever. Yep, him. Read this hilarious rom-com now. I'm a 22-year-old virgin who's had 5 one-night stands. How's that possible? Let's
just leave it at that. How's that possible?
Easy. I've never gone all the way. I just chicken out and bail. Thank God. I've always selected men I'll never run across again. ... Until that sexy as sin Matt from last weekend moves in next door. ... Then shows up as a new in-house counsel at Sweet Darlings Incorporated, where I work. There's so much. Okay,
there really is. This is just like someone's fantasy. Like, start a new job at a law firm, and there's a hunky boy.
Sweet Darlings is just absolutely a Hallmark movie.
Now,
like,
I might be just a simple small-town pizza lawyer, but let me tell you, this should not be allowed to be put on a pizza.
I only do pizza-based commissions. If you do not have any pizza crimes, I am not available. Also, I'm hot, I'm single, and I'm a single father. A virgin. How is that possible?
You may keep me on retainer for the price of 4 pizzas a week. No more, no less.
If you don't give me those pizzas, I'm out. I'm bailing.
I am
out. But there's like it's basically like ... It's like they took like a section of a sentence and just like cut it out and put it in. It feels weird. Sweet Darlings Incorporated, where I work. Oh, crap. But it was dark in the hotel room. If I put on a boring office outfit and Clark Kent glasses, he won't recognize me, right?
Wait, the Clark Kent glasses are the perfect disguise. They're known to be infallible, and no one can see through them. So, just point that out.
These reviews are... One's just a nothing review, and then this is also in description. This was my first Nadia Lee book, and I absolutely love it. I was giggling pretty much from the start of the book. I mean, how can you not when a young 20-something virgin has had 5 one-night stands?
How can you not?
How can you not love her? She's bailing on all these guys.
She's bailing left. She's bailing right. She's out of here.
Now, how do we get a sequel to this? We get That Sexy Stranger, a standalone romantic comedy. Apparently it's the best read of 2018. I don't think so. I don't think that this is...
The New York Times front page. This is the best read. Stop the presses. Sports page, flip, you're like, oh, I gotta get my sports page. Nope. It's just more suggestions for this book. That's it.
Nadia Lee, you've done it again. The Romans had carpe diem. I have carpe David. That means nothing.
I'm going to stop you right there. That means nothing.
I guess seize the David. You know what's frustrating about the love of my life? He thinks he's in love with someone else. Classic. I don't think... Okay. Classic. This is turning into a relationship podcast. Hey, that's not healthy. Yeah, is when he's just like, oh, and has been dating her for 5 years? I know, right?
Sounds like they're doing all right.
I think this man's been cheating on his girl. Okay, but also, when did they start? Maybe he's cheating on that girl with her.
This is conspiracy theories already, Will.
Yeah. Then they suddenly break up, and he and I are on the same business trip. My chance to convince him we're meant to be. I don't know. Don't save the relationship, girl. Except when I go to his suite in my sexiest lingerie and my sexiest toys. David's gone. Instead, there's some guy who thinks I'm the evening's professional entertainment. As if.
No, you're not David. I'm not here to entertain you.
Okay. It gets crazy. Okay, imagine a lady walks in and she's wearing lingerie and has like dildos and stuff. She's like, "I'm ready, honey," and you're just like, "Oh, the prostitute I didn't order. You're here." Like,
I wasn't expecting you. Thanks for coming.
He just takes his pants off. He's like, "I mean, are we gonna do this?" Like,
she's okay. Like, "No, Carpe David.
Carpe David. Who doesn't love me? I'm the evening's professional entertainment." As if. Walking out of the room should have been the end of it, until that man, Luke, shows up again, ostensibly to return something I left behind. A sex toy. A very, very dirty one.
Excuse me, ma'am. You left this nasty...
He's like holding it with his forefinger and thumb, just like...
in my room, and I'm here to give it back to you. I thought I'd at least do you the favor and...
Stop stalking me! What's your name so I could put it in my book?
I'm sorry. I was just trying to do a human kindness, but I see that was obviously not the right move.
Well, here's the thing. And refuses to go away because we apparently have chemistry? And okay, he's admittedly hot, but there's more to a relationship than chemistry, right? What have I done to deserve this? You haven't looked at the signs to see that your David was dating somebody for 5 years.
But there's more. Will, you forget that there's more to a relationship than chemistry. That's what you forgot.
And being hot. Imagine. And she had no chemistry with her last guy that he left for this random chick. All right, this is the one that I was going to read first. That Wild Player, a standalone bad boy billionaire and good girl romantic comedy. They never named the main character. Wow, I'm going to call her Nadia.
David stocks really took off since the last one. Now he's a billionaire. Yeah. He bought a lot of Apple and Tesla.
This might be Luke, except it has a different name. So I think it's a different person. What's a good girl to do when she gets dumped via an email? That's CC to all her best friends. So Luke's fucking out.
Okay, so hold up. CC to all her friends? That's really rough.
He's met all her friends. He's like, they want to hear about this shit. Like, I don't want to tell people individually.
She's like going around. She's like, this is David. And he's like, hi, great to meet you. Could I get your email address?
Yeah. Hey, I might be breaking up with her a while. Do you want to hear about it?
If you want to. I mean, I'm a Hotmail user, but whatever you pick.
So what's a good girl to do? A, run over her jerk-face ex-boyfriend over with a semi, a murder. B, hire a hitman on Craigslist.
As one does. Yeah.
You know those Craigslist hitmen?
They're like, looking for a hitman.
Misconnections. I missed the bullet.
Misconnection. I like that.
C, try online dating with her best friends to cheer her on. That's murder? So A, murder.
A,
B,
murder. Also murder.
C, emotional murder.
That's a tough choice.
Alas, online dating isn't what it's cracked up to be. Yeah.
Well, maybe not if you're going on Craigslist and going looking for that crowd.
But just what I'm about to give up, and she just has like a silenced pistol. She's like, well, I'm just
She's polishing her like sniper rifle. She's like, I guess this is it. Oh, wait.
She gets in her semi and she's like, and she's like, wait, a new Tinder thing in. Until I'm about to give up, CJ Peers, a Silicon Valley billionaire, hot, smart, makes me tingle in places I don't even know could tingle. This lady, I guess, hasn't had an orgasm in ever. Wait, so perfect, I'd ignore.
My earlobe, it's tingling. I didn't know it could. I didn't know it could do that. That's crazy.
Ooh, maybe I'm part Ferengi. High five for a 6 Star Trek reference. Nobody's here. It's just me.
It's just
yeah. So perfect, I'd ignore the humiliation of ending our first encounter with him clutching my bad luck panties against his tight abs, except he's a player. The exact opposite of what I need. There's a lot to unpack. Bad luck panties is not what you want to bring on a date.
Yeah, if you have a pair of bad luck panties, why don't you just get rid of them?
Because the bad luck goes somewhere, probably to your tingly parts.
Like my earlobe.
Yeah, your earlobe. but no is not part of his vocabulary. Hey, lady,
run! Get out of there!
He wants me.
He's a billionaire who's like, hey, Mark, do you want to invest all your money in Dogecoin? I don't know how to say no, so yes.
Okay. He wants me and pursues me relentlessly. He pops up as best man at my friend's wedding. What? Can you do that? Can you? Buy a best man?
He's well connected.
I guess so. At my office in my home, he's sending me flowers, chocolates, coffee beans, you name it. You know, all those high quality coffee beans. Plus, he kisses me like he invented the action. It's like he knows all my weaknesses.
So like a first attempt, but like not refined at all. Like he's like, I'm just spitballing here, but is this anything?
He's like, I have a patent. Is this good? Can I do this?
He's like going around. He's like, hey, cease and desist. You're not allowed to kiss. I have a patent.
Hey, kiss me. I'm the only one who can kiss. It's like he knows all my weaknesses and launching a siege. Then my world implodes and I realize being good and responsible is overrated. Can the wild player handle this former good girl? The answer is no. Maybe yes, because there's no other books after this, and it's the end of Segment City. Thank you, everybody, for showing up for the podcast like usual.
Like usual, you stop.
We're being, you know what? We're gonna just be all offensive.
We're gonna be raunchy.
If you want to send us some hate mail for all of Theo's bad opinions, send it to segmentcitypodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at Segment City.
Yeah,
hit up our YouTube.
Just hit up the YouTube and comment, Will's a butt. Got him.
You know what I really hate is when people go to our YouTube and send friends our best of, just like little clips to get them into the podcast and, tell friends about our podcast and leave us reviews and ratings. I hate that.
Dude,
I hate it so much.
I hate when people go into iTunes and they subscribe and they leave us a rating. I hate it. Don't ever do that.
I really hate it. You know who I hate the most? Wink, wink.
I can't even pretend. I can't even lie through my teeth and say that I hate this person. See, they're just the greatest. It's Rachel Brabazon. Okay. She wrote our intro music. She has a podcast of her own, Create Loud. Go check it out. She's great.
She's great. And so are all of you. And I got a one night stand, Theo. But don't worry, I'm gonna bail.
Well, you know what? Everyone knows you're gonna bail. You're not even gonna go.
I'm such an adrenaline junkie I get to the place that I go like, I gotta go to the bathroom to take a shit. And I just hop out the window and I go.
You're gonna walk into that Wendy's and you're gonna be marking your escape routes left and right.
I do that at every Wendy's I go to.
You do.
Not McDonald's though. I know I'm safe at McDonald's.
Mickey D's? Straight to the ball pit.
You're pretty good. Just dive in. You're just like Rambo, just like eyes coming up off the ball pit. You're just staring at the kids. You're like, you go back down.
you're in camouflage, and it's like different ball colors on your face.
It's like Apocalypse Now. We're just like, Anyway, thank you everybody, and have a lovely day.
Bye.